Well, hey guys, welcome back, and we are living in a weird timeline. I know we've talked a lot about influencers and people like Chris Tyson and Keffals and Mr. Beast and all that. Well, the influencer meltdown that has ensued the last few weeks continues to just trickle down into all avenues of online discourse, to where now we have Moist Critikal, somebody who also goes by Penguin Zero or Charlie on many platforms, YouTube, Twitter, all that, having a debate with Sneako, who I will be fully honest and say is someone I'm not a fan of. So again, I know very little about both these individuals. I don't really consume their content. Sneako, I've heard some really horrible takes from. Moist Critikal, I've heard some very generic takes from. And so again, no dog in this fight, personally. But they have a long history of having debates and controversies between the two of them. And recently they had an internet debate that kind of went viral, where both of them said some pretty sketchy things. But again, I think rightfully so, Moist Critikal was called out on one of his statements, which was a little bit more disgusting in my personal opinion.
Do you believe that somebody can go through hormone therapy? Can they change their gender if they're a child?
I think that's totally fine as long as everyone is consenting, as you agree with.
Okay, so as long as everyone...
If your parents are okay with it and you are okay with it, I think that's totally a familial decision to make, yeah.
Okay, so a child can...
So this was the clip in question, and again, previously before this, I guess Sneako had said that a 15-year-old should be able to marry a 21-year-old with consent. Again, two opinions on either side of this argument that I disagree with both of them. I think they're both disgusting. But obviously, having a permanent surgery to irreparably harm your body, something that is completely irreversible, and at the time as being a teenager, if you decide to do this, or even younger, because there are gender clinics that have done this to people who are younger than teenagers, believe it or not, it is a very disturbing, very weird take to have. But again, it's kind of the corporate YouTube, mainstream media approved take, so I'm not shocked that Moist Critikal has this opinion. So of course, he's been called out by people like nickmercs, who've been very vocal about this kind of stuff, saying, imagine comparing underage chemical castration to picking a sport as a child, which is essentially what Moist Critikal did in this clip. He's like, well, they're going to choose a sport also, but, they might not want to have that sport forever either. So it's like, it's a weird take to have. So nickmercs says, yeah, you're sick in the head. And now, of course, he has had to backtrack. Moist Critikal, Charlie, he has had to correct his statement. And so we'll just go ahead and play this clip right here. But again, it's very telling how quickly he backtracked on this.
And now I give a perspective on something that immediately gets misconstrued. And I do recognize a lot of it's my fault. I assumed that Sneako was talking in hyperbole about a 9-year-old getting their dick cut off, because I didn't have the assumption that anyone thought that is how transitioning works. There is, under no circumstances, any legality behind a kid saying, I want to change genders, and then immediately going in and getting their dick cut off. That doesn't happen.
Well, okay, so he's saying it doesn't happen. Maybe that particular surgery doesn't happen, but to be fair, there are, I can pull up an article for you right now that I covered in my last video about how there are gender clinics, reassignments, or hormone therapy replacement clinics that do offer services to people as young as 9 years old and have been caught doing that sort of thing. So again, maybe he's just not aware of this, but there is definitely a precedent for this thing existing. So, of course, since then, you've seen this, I'm sure, from a podcast that Moist Critikal was associated with, saying, show update, goodbye Charlie. And this is apparently from their Patreon account. It says, hey everyone, effective immediately, Charlie has made the decision to leave both the official podcast and Red Thread. He wants to go on an indefinite hiatus to scale back his time spent on the internet. We obviously wish him the best, for everyone to respect his decision and for all to know that the show will always be open for him to drop by and talk shop should he wish to return. The official podcast, Red Thread, and Criminally Stupid are not going anywhere in light of this announcement. So, a lot of people are speculating as to what has caused this. Sneako came out and said Moist Critikal put out a statement saying he's quitting the internet after our debate. For years, everyone has seen cancel culture attack me, and I have never quit. My advice is to never take a break, never show weakness, keep your head up, brother. And then tagged Moist Critikal in it. Again, I don't know necessarily that this is entirely because of Sneako's debate. It could be that Moist Critikal was like, you know what, I'm sick and tired of dealing with the internet. Stuttering Craig here says DSP outlasts another, talking about Moist Critikal quitting. And of course, Darkside Phil being one of those lol cows on the internet, much like Boogie. Again, Boogie is still around, but, Moist Critical's taking an indefinite hiatus. So, very strange. Real Hypnotic says, man, what a massive pussy, too much time online. Yeah, sure. Did all that time online make you think that transing kids was okay? And again, I understand that Moist Critical's response is, look, we were speaking in hypotheticals. We were not talking literally about what, we would like to see happen. And I understand that there's nuance that needs to be taken away from a lot of these debates. This is why, personally, I don't get into the whole debate me bro sphere of things. I would never, no matter how big a YouTube channel of mine got, I would never want to engage in a debate with somebody online. Personally, I don't think debates change anyone's minds. I don't think they change anyone's opinions. They're a waste of time. They're all for show. But he says this is the problem with people who parrot the mainstream narrative. The moment they get backlash from something, even while parroting the mainstream, they run away. Damn, Charlie, this is a massive L. I was a fan of your content. Rest in peace. And again, I think that is a somewhat fair opinion to have. Melanie Max says he had a stupid opinion, but I don't think that's enough reason to run away from social media. We all have stupid opinions sometimes. And I've seen this too. In fact, actually, Hypnotic was talking about this yesterday, how a YouTuber covering Star Wars Outlaws took down his video because his audience was criticizing his opinion about it, and he caved to the pressure, and then he re-uploaded it and basically said, well, F you guys, I'm just going to re-upload this anyways because I should never have taken it down. It's like, well, why did you consider taking it down in the first place? Why did you run? Look, I've posted videos on this channel, on my gaming channel. I've said things during my live streams that people have disagreed with, and I've had to take some L's. That's okay. That's called growing. There's nothing wrong with that. But again, it's just unfortunate that he felt the need to essentially hide from the internet because of this. Mr. Obvious saying what's insane is this basically confirms what many thought about Moist Critical all along. He forms his opinions based on what he reads on Reddit and thinks is popular and everyone will agree with. Now, again, I think that represents a lot of people online. I don't think that this is necessarily unique to Moist Critical. I think there are a lot of people who say a lot of generic shit for a while. Again, Destiny didn't go full mask off recently until after the assassination attempt on Trump, and then all of a sudden he went full shit lib, left-wing lunatic, where video clips of him saying some horrific things are starting to surface, and he's kind of exposed himself for who he really is. Now, I'm by no means comparing Moist Critical, a person I know very little about, to Destiny. I don't want to be unfair in that comparison, but I'm just saying sometimes it takes a catastrophic internet episode for people to show you who they truly are. So that being said, guys, I'm going to leave it right there. Let me know what you guys think about this. I'm sure at least somebody who sees this video is a fan of Moist Critical. Do you think that this is him being, represented unfairly? Is this him simply saying, dude, I just gotta unplug for a while, this is just, too much for me? Let me know in the comments what you think about all this, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Alright, and if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you for being here. I do have 2 channels, Minimal Effort Podcast, as well as my gaming channel. I do have a Twitch and Kick for my gaming channel. We do live streams over there occasionally, maybe once a week. And then if you are in the market for a new PC, make sure to check out Meta PCs. Click the link I have down below. Use code TBO at checkout for a special discount. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.